Hi and welcome to Frankenstein's Fabrics Saturday Stitches. Today is our very first video and I'm going to show you how to start with the very beginning of free motion quilting with a stipple. Now, as you can see in front of me, I have my machine all set up. Now I've left all my settings at the default, so in this case it is a stitch length of 3.5 and I have it on 0 because I've dropped my feed teeth. I've got my thread all threaded up. I actually am using a large signature variegated thread, which is this one here. It's called a maxi lock and it's in rainbow. It's on a big thread stand to the side of my machine. I have my free motion foot, which is spring loaded, and I have the open toe foot base on the bottom. This machine also has the echo quilting and the closed foot. Now, depending on how much visibility and what type of free motion quilting you're doing, you will play around with these sorts of feet, but for most purposes you will be using an open toe one. I also have a Schmetz Jeans 90 needle in my machine. My bobbin is full. I have my thread snips handy, and I also have my favorite needle, which is a self-threading needle. If you can see here, it's got a little prong at the top. I'll explain more about the needles after. So, I have my 1/2 meter square practice panel that I'm working on. I've actually put 2 layers of cotton wadding in this because I want a bit more puff, and it shows up better on the screen for you guys at home. I've just stitched around the square that I'm working on. It's a 5-inch square, and I'm going to put my foot down. Now, today is raining where I am, so we've got a bit of background noise, and I am in my craft room at home, so there is a bit of traffic going past my house. And we also have a very noisy machine with this foot on it, so it does make a bit of noise. So I will sew and then talk and sew and talk, and that way you'll be able to hear everything. So with this, I've got my needle and foot down into the fabric. Normally when I would start, if I hadn't already done this, I would pull my bobbin thread to the top and hold it in my left hand. So all I'm going to do is position my hands comfortably, and I'm going to work out where I'm going to go. So with stipple, it's a case of moving left to right, right to left, and interlocking the curves into each other. So get comfortable, roll up your fabric, put your hands in a comfortable position, and don't be afraid to have to stop and reposition. As I said, the machine is very loud with this setting, so I'm going to stop now and reposition. Now you will find some machines don't like free motion quilting with their feed teeth down, so you can experiment in both ways. So I'm just going to pop mine up now and see if that's any easier for me. And it is easier. So you need to experiment with your machine at home which method is a better option for you. Now I do know with some of the machines that come with things like BSR, like the Bonita machines, they will ask you for safety reasons to put the feed teeth down. So with our stipple, you can see I'm just curving around left and right and up and down, getting into those positions to make sure it all tessellates together. Now traditionally stipple you don't cross over yourself, so this is one continuous line. So in order to keep that up you need to keep moving, Now the best thing to do, I find, is to not watch the needle, but watch just in front of the foot where you're going next. That way you don't get locked into a corner or trapped by your other stitches, and you can keep going. The other thing you'll find too is when you're doing free motion quilting is that your needle is better suited in the down position when you start and stop, and that is so that you don't move your fabric accidentally and end up with a jump stitch. So what we're looking at now is I've just stopped and I'm going to put my foot down and then wait for it to do one stitch, and then I'm going to start moving. And that is one stippled square. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move to our next section, and then that will be next week's video. So if you'd like to set yourself up with a 20-inch drawn up panel, so it's 5-inch squares by 4 across, set them up, chalk them up onto a piece of fabric so that you can follow along with these practice panels, and every week we will be adding to this skill set. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them below and I will get to them. The thread that I'm using is Signature Maxi Lock. I can order that in. The rainbow one is a fabulous one to use. It also comes in a pastel version. And I do have 2 layers of cotton wadding underneath this, so it's just a bit more puffy. If you have any extra questions, feel free to ask. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next week for Saturday Stitches.